we have already imported this file. We can find this template on Canvas. Okay, so I have uploaded this template. If you open this template in Revit as a project, now we have the picture here, and we have all the grid lines to understand the structural elements in the plan. But now we have to do the same with the section. So on the east elevation, no, because this is the south. Okay, so this picture that we have here, this is the south elevation because we are looking the building this way. So I copy, I open Paint, paste, zoom out, and save this picture as section. Okay. So now in Revit, it's not the east elevation. I want to open the south elevation because this is south. It's not south because south is this facade. Then we will rotate it true north. But at this point, we have the south elevation here. Here we have some levels, some reference planes. Let's delete the reference planes. And here we have level 0, level -10, level 10, and level 20. Okay, so we're going to change the levels. But on that south elevation, I want to insert the picture, and I want to insert this section here. Okay. Where is our 0 level? So I would place the 0 level where the ground floor is here. Okay, so I'm going to move this floor up to the 0 level. Okay, so make sure that this level 0 matches the ground floor of the building. But now we have to scale this, and if we have to scale this, and now we have the plan, so we know the distance between this point and that point. So if we have the plan at scale, now I need to measure the distance between this grid line. This is the first point of the building, and this grid line is the last point of the building. Okay, so I need to measure that distance. So I go to annotate, align, distance between grid number 0 and grid number 10. This is a I'm going to write it down, 137 feet and 4 inches. So that's the length of the building. If I go to the south elevation, I wish I could see here the grid lines. Why can't I do it? Why can't I see the grid lines here? This is the level. And here, the grid lines don't show up. Why? What? Hidden. Well, let's find out. Is it hidden? No. Second up. There you go. Okay, so I have a scope box here, and the elevation mark is out of the scope box. So I either move the elevation inside the scope box, or I'm going to move the scope box out the elevation mark. And if everything goes well, I would see, yes, you see that now I can see the grid lines. Okay. So this is the reference I needed because I start this grid line at the beginning of the building. So I have to move this building here. Okay, so now this is the starting point of the building, and the end of this floor should be grid line number 10. So what I have to do is I have to scale. This is the first point. The second point is the total length of the ground floor of the building here. And then I have to move it to the grid line number 10. So now the section and the elevation, or no, the plan and the elevation, they are the same scale. And now I can start adjusting the levels. Well, here, what levels do I have? Yeah, basically, we don't have levels. Well, we have the basement, and then we have the top of the building. So I can place that level at the top of the building. So this is level 50 now. And I have here a level number 10. Well, I have something here. Well, I'll keep this, but the basement, what is the, let me check the section again. Okay, so as you can see, we have like different foundation levels, but why? I know. There might be a reason for having this footing here, this footing there, and this footing slightly above, below. But I'm always thinking about money. So doing this, it's more expensive than having just a flat foundation level. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to select what's the level we have here, -10. Okay, so I'm going to place all my foundations at level -10. Okay, so we have level 0 where the foundation is, and then we have level -10. Level 0, it's where the ground floor is. Level -10 is the level where the footings are going to be. And then we will have walls. Sometimes there will be a retaining wall. Sometimes they are not, but we will have walls here. And okay, so now on level 0, I have this. And I want this elevation. So as you can see, this wall has this shape. And this is the retaining wall. Okay, so how can we do it? Let's go to level -10. On level -10, we have all the grid lines here. And these retaining walls are here, are in this grid, this one and that one. Okay. So let's use grid line number 1 and number 2. And I'm going to create on level 10 a retaining wall. So we have to go to structure, wall, no, wall structural. And here I have to find retaining concrete. Well, I have 300 millimeters, probably would have 1 foot. You have 300 or 1 foot? 300. Okay, 300 millimeters, it's 30 centimeters, it's 1 foot. So this is usually what we need for a retaining wall. So let's select this one. It's made of concrete. We don't have layers because this wall is a concrete wall. Okay, so we don't have any layers here. We are going to create a wall here, the slab. And as you can see, we have 3 walls. 1, 2, and 3. So the first one is on grid line 1, the second one is on grid line 2, and well, we will find out where the third wall is. So in grid line 1, I'm going to work from this point. Let me see. This point to that point. So this is retaining wall. Let's see the 3D view, what we have done. I'm going to, since I have a scope box, I'm going to select the levels and I'm going to attach those levels to the scope box. Why is not happening? Because probably this level is not within the scope box, so I have to go to the south elevation. And yeah, I have to move the scope box slightly down, and then I have to select this level and select scope box 1. And now everything works well. But that wall goes from level -10 up to, we have the based offset, the stupid offset. The top constraint has to be level 0, and the offset has to be 0. Okay. So that's the retaining wall here. And well, you see that we have 3 retaining walls, 1, 2, and 3. So when we are done with this one, we will copy this retaining wall twice up to this point. But now we have to change the shape of that retaining wall. So I want to work from the west elevation. So we go to the west elevation, and on the west elevation, again, we don't see the grid lines. Why? Probably because the elevation mark is out of the box. Okay, so I will place the elevation mark here, and I'm going to do the same thing with all the elevation marks. All the elevation marks are within the scope box. And now on the west elevation, I see the wall and I see the grid lines. What's next? I have to change the shape of that wall because, yeah, we have those steps here. So I'm not going to measure those steps. I could, because I have information from this elevation, so I could insert this elevation and trace this wall. But, well, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to make it up, okay? But I need those steps so that the retaining wall has the overhang. So let's do it. So on the west elevation, select the wall, edit profile, and now we are going to change the shape of this wall, and we have to create different steps. So we can do this, this, copy. Okay, and now I copy this. And finally, I'm going to use the trim here and there. And now if I want to do the symmetrical, I will select all these. Oh. Okay, I select everything. I mirror. I have to select the midpoint of this wall here and trim and finish. And I have this retaining wall with that shape. We don't see because it's buried, but there will be a footing. Okay, we don't see it, it's buried, but yeah, here we see that there's a footing, the section, there's a footing underneath that retaining wall. So now, if I select the wall, if I go to structure and I go to foundation, I select wall foundation. I select the wall and well, you see what happens. We need a foundation here, but since this is the wall, Revit understands that I want foundations in that place. And I don't want that. So I can't use this tool of foundations for Revit. So I'm going to do something different. Okay, so undo. And if I need a foundation, I can always work in the west elevation, starting on grid line A. No, the south elevation. This is the retaining wall. I'm going to work architecture component model in place. I don't have foundation, so I'm going to use walls. Oh, we have structural foundation. Okay, so select structural foundation in this category. And I'm going to use extrusion. I'm going to select grid A and just a rectangle. And now on the 3D view, I have to adapt the size of, well, of that rectangle here. Okay, so now we have the foundation where it should be. Okay, so this is the wall, this is the footing. And now from the south elevation, I want to copy the retaining wall in the foundation. This wall doesn't match with this grid line, so I'm going to change this because I want this foundation to match the grid line. Okay, and now the third one should be something here. So now there are three foundation walls with the footings, which is so here we have three walls, 1, 2, and 3. What's next? The floor slab. So now the floor slab, it doesn't match the grid lines. You see that the slab, it's always beyond the structure, and that makes sense. Okay, so I have to trace the floor slab, but it doesn't match the grid line. That's important. Okay, so I have to create a criteria. What's the distance between or what's the gap between the grid line and the floor slab? I don't know. I can try to measure, annotate. I need a line here, and now I can annotate. It's 1 and 10, so yeah, we can say 2 feet, okay? So there's a gap of 2 feet between the grid line and the edge of the slab. So what I have to do now, it's on level 0. I have to go to architecture, floor, architectural structure, doesn't matter. So let's select architectural floor. Do we have a metal deck? No, we don't have this kind of floor. We can create a generic floor, and we're going to edit the type. And this floor, we are going to make 1 foot. 1 foot. And the material is going to be concrete. Concrete cast in place. Okay. And now I will select lines. We agreed that it's going to be 2 feet and 2 feet. This is 2 feet, 2. Then I go with width, trim. Two feet all the way. Okay, so now I have the slab. It's 2 feet. Oh, this one. Sorry, this has to be here. And click OK. And do we want to attach the walls? I want to attach the walls. Yep, there you go. Okay, so now we have the foundations And then we have the first slab. And then on that slab, I can start building the rest of the structure.